Hello, everyone. My name is Gus.
Hi, I'm Woody.
Today we have, I haven't seen this one, but what seems to be a sad video. This is a video detailing the final message that divers wrote as they realized they were not going to make it.
Wow.
So imagine we're in a cave together or alone, and you realize this is it. I'm not going to make it. I'm lost. I don't have a line. I'm running out of gas, whatever. So you need to write a message.
Actually, I think I just thought of it.
Okay. Let's watch.
I have one.
Let's watch some of the stuff they said, and then
I'm gonna let people watch it, but you know what? It just dawned on me. I have one.
and then
You stay tuned. You'll hear what my final message would be.
then we'll say what our final message will be. I don't have one, so I'm just gonna make it up
I have
as
one.
you. I'm sure yours is
No, I have it.
very
Really
thoughtful. Yeah, very thoughtful message. But
Just hit me. Actually, what I'm gonna write.
All right.
By the way, look beautiful. Look at the beauty of that thing. Well, various different, videos get mixed in with AI these days.
Yeah.
What would your final words be if you knew no one would ever see your face again? Throughout history,
I have
cave
one.
divers have pushed into the darkest places on Earth where one wrong turn can mean death. And sometimes those divers don't come back. Yet a few in their final hours left behind chilling last messages. These messages are not just notes. They are confessions, love letters, memories of a human standing face to face with death. Number 1. Peter Verhulsel, Sterkfontein Caves, South Africa, 1984. Have you ever wondered what it feels like to be completely alone in the dark? Where there is no wind, no sunlight, just silence. Now imagine knowing you will never make it back out. That is the haunting story of Peter Verhulsel, a diver whose last message was scratched into sand deep beneath the earth.
Whoa.
It was echoed with love and despair he left for his loved ones. The Sterkfontein Caves in South Africa are famous for their history. Archaeologists call them the cradle of humankind because of the ancient fossils found there. But beneath the bones of early humans lie vast, flooded caverns, a black, mysterious underworld that attracts explorers with mystery and danger. In 1984, 29-year-old Peter Verhulsel entered those caves with a tank of air, a light, and the courage to go where few had ever gone. He was never a reckless daredevil. He was a careful diver, fascinated by the secrets of the caves. He wanted to know it better than anyone. But in the underworld, even one mistake can turn fascination into fatality. And that is what happened to Peter. Somewhere deep inside, he lost his way. The tunnels were narrowing
What
in
is
his way. and
That's what it
visibility
was.
was dropping
That's
so
what it
unexpectedly.
was. It's like a tank. That was a BC.
What?
It's just that's kind of like what we had. You just sort of had this thing that was strapped around that would strap around a tank.
Wow.
It was not
Well,
like a
there's-
BC.
There's no BC because there's no buoyancy compensation of any kind.
Exactly. I'm just using the word for what you wore around your shoulders to hold your tank.
Exactly.
The passages started to trick him like a maze built to confuse. He couldn't find the way back to the surface. Instead of finding the exit, he swam deeper into the cave system until he reached an isolated chamber with no way out. He managed to survive by finding tiny air pockets, but he was cut off from the surface and rescuers couldn't reach him. Rescuers later discovered that Peter managed to survive for an almost unthinkable amount of time. That was 3 weeks. 3 weeks trapped underground, surviving
Wow.
only on tiny air pockets, completely cut off from the sun and from hope. Can you picture it? Waking up each day in the same darkness and in the same silence, knowing the world above is moving on, while you remain stuck beneath it.
This looks
And
like
then
Ocean
came
Grove.
the moment when Peter
does.
must have realized the truth. The rescue was not coming, and his body was growing weaker while craving for oxygen. So he chose to leave behind something more powerful than fear. On a small underground beach beside the black water, Peter bent down and pressed his final words into the sand.
Let's see.
Not a diary or an explanation, but just a message. It said, "I love you, Shirl and Ma." That was it. No cry for help, nor a bitter word about his fate. Just love from a son thinking of his mother and a young man whispering a last goodbye to his partner Shirley. When rescuers eventually found him, his body was lying beside those words. In the end, his last act was not of panic or despair, It was of love and devotion. Just imagine being his family, waiting above ground all those days, praying for his safe return.
If you're still with us, my last words are different than those. In case you're wondering. They're gonna be. I'll tell you when we get there.
Imagine the moment they learned the truth, and instead of his arms around them, they received his message written in sand. It was all they had left of him. Peter Verhulsel's story is more than just a tragedy of exploration. It is a chilling reminder of how fragile we are in the face of nature's power. But it is also a reminder of what really matters when everything else is swept away. In his final hours, Peter did not think of fame or the record he might set, or the caves he could not escape. He thought of love, and that is what he left behind. A diver, trapped in darkness, chose to send a message that still shines brighter than any light he carried with him, and that was, "I love you, Sherlin Mar."
Okay. Now you're
Number
just
2,
adding
Dave Shaw,
just to make it
Bozeman's
longer.
Gut Cave, South Africa. What if the last
Dave
promise
Shaw.
you ever made was the one that cost you your life? Imagine a place where your light is swallowed whole, where silence fights against you and every breath is borrowed time. And now imagine choosing to go there, knowing it has already taken others. That is the haunting story of Dave Shaw, a diver who entered the black waters of Bushman's Hole not to set a record, but to bring someone home. But
You know, even though we've been in caves that people have died in, multiple. If you think of Beaufort Springs, people have died there. Manatee
Lots.
Springs, people have died there.
Even Jenny.
Devil's,
Jenny Springs.
yeah. Devil's Cave System, Ginny Springs, people have died there. Eagle's Nest, people have died there. Like
Little River.
Little River, people have died. Like on and on and on and on. We've been into so many systems.
Eagle's Nest.
Yeah, that people have died.
Actually, what caves have we been in that people haven't dived in is the better question.
That's a interesting way to think about it.
Which
but
says something about cave diving, doesn't it?
but we've never done
Abacus, the Crystal Caves. Has anybody died in there?
Probably
No,
not.
I don't think so.
Well, the same with El Diablo. Nobody has died there, but nobody also enters there.
Well, you were close.
Okay. The point is, we haven't gone in a dive where people have died, like trying to do. You know what I'm saying? So I'll give you an example. The Plura cave dive where people died. It's a traverse that goes really deep, and then I don't remember the whole story exactly, but they were in this traverse. It's like 100 meters deep or something, and they were traversing, and at some point you have to go through a restriction, and one guy couldn't make it, and the other anyway, something happened, but like 2 of them died, and the whole team. It was like a team of 4 or 6 or something, and then 2 of them I think died during that traverse. We have never done something where we're like, okay, those 2 people died. We're going to do that dive. We're going to do that traverse.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So even though we've been in caves where people have died, we've never done the dive that they died trying to do.
Right.
And I don't think there's any dive out there where I would knowingly be like, I know that Sheck Exley died doing this dive, so I'm going to do it. Like, I don't think there's a single thing that comes to mind. You know, something that I want to do is the arch in the Blue Hole in Egypt. A lot of people have died
What's
trying
the
to
depth?
do that.
It's not that deep, is it?
It's pretty deep, dude. It's like 180 feet or something.
Oh, okay.
160,
Oh,
something
no,
like
that's
that.
deep. It's trimix level diving.
But the majority of people who die there, it's called Diver Cemetery, by the way. This site.
I just meant it's not like 100 meters.
No.
It's like normoxic level of
Correct.
trimix.
Yeah, and the most of the people that have died there have been in open circuit, single tank.
Yeah.
It looks deceiving. It's like, oh, it doesn't
Right.
look that deep, and then once you're inside of the arch, it's like a tunnel. You can't go up. You run out of air.
I want to do that.
Yeah, I want to do that too. And people have done it in the Dive Talk Go, by the way, already. So it will be a great dive to go do.
It would.
But again, the people that have died doing that dive, it's not because the dive was challenging. It's because they did it with poor equipment and poor training. So I would enjoy doing that. But I can't think of any cave dive that I would know that some amazing explorers and divers died doing and that I want to try to do that. Can't think of one.
But what he found instead was a fate written in the silence. Bushman's Hole, also known as Bozeman's Gut, lies hidden on a remote farm in South Africa. From the surface, it looks
Deep.
like nothing more than a dark pond covered
Very
in
deep.
duckweed. Just calm and quiet, but beneath that is one of the deepest freshwater caves in the world that stretches almost 900 feet into blackness. For decades, it has attracted divers
Deep,
from around
900
the
feet
globe.
deep.
Some returned with stories, while others never returned at all. One of those who never came back was Dion Dreyer, a 20-year-old diver who got trapped in 1994 during a practice dive.
That's who Dave went to
His
get.
body disappeared into
Correct.
the depths, leaving his family with nothing but questions, and Bushman's Hole with another secret. 10 years later, in October 2004, Dave Shaw descended into the sinkhole. He was a technical diver, an airline pilot, and a man driven by determination. On that dive, at nearly 900 feet below the surface, he broke records few believed was possible. But it was not the records that changed his life. It was what he saw in the darkness. Deep down the water, he saw the body of Dion Dreyer. Dave rose to the surface with one thought running in his mind, that he had to bring Dion home.
Nice.
You know, when you watch the documentary about David Shaw and the dive he was trying to do, so just a little bit more information. The dive he was trying to do was the deepest rebreather dive. That was the record he was trying to break. And he knew that going to the bottom of Bosmangat, the cave where he was at, there was a chance he was going to run into the body of Dion Dreyer. He knew that. He went in there and said, I'll keep my eye out if I run into the body. And then he went down there and he ran into it. We have an opportunity next year for something like that to happen. It's not likely to happen. I kind of hope it doesn't happen, but it could happen. And what we're talking about is we have an opportunity to dive to the bottom of the Blue Hole in Belize.
Yep.
And we know that there's at least 3 bodies down there.
It's about 400 feet at the bottom.
400 feet deep. And there's 3 divers down there that have never been recovered. The latest mission to the bottom of the Blue Hole was with a submersible, like a drone. And they captured the bodies with a camera. Like the camera found them. So they're still down there. They haven't been eaten. And I think the reason why, like marine sharks or whatever, they or fish, they haven't eaten these bodies is because they are past a hydrogen sulfide layer. Hydrogen sulfide is this, poison, basically liquid that is sometimes you find in caves and deep holes like that there's no life below that. Like, because no oxygen passes through it. So the bodies are down there, but there's no other living things down there that could feed out of it. So for the first time, we could be in a position to actually run into bodies. I don't think this is, personally, it's not something that I'm looking for. Like, I want to do the dive because I want to get to the bottom of the Blue Hole, not because I want to run into bodies. So even if we ran into it and we had cameras rolling, we'll never show that. We'll just never will.
Nope.
So that's going to be the first time that we are in a position that maybe do what David Shaw did, which is go down there knowing that you're probably going to run into actual divers that died.
In the weeks that followed, Dave became consumed by that mission. He contacted Dion's parents and promised them he would recover their son's body. It was no longer about exploration or glory. It was about giving a grieving family the closure they had been wanting for a decade. On January 8, 2005, before dawn, Dave and his team stood at the edge of the black water. The air was cold and the silence was too heavy. He strapped on his gear, checked his equipment, and descended once more into the darkness. At nearly 900 feet down, Dave found Dion's remains exactly where he had seen them before.
Deep.
Carefully, he began the process of placing the body into a recovery bag. But he didn't know that the cave had other plans. When Dave tried to move the body, something unexpected happened. Instead of sinking, Dion's corpse began to float. After years underwater, his remains had transformed into a waxy, buoyant substance known as adipocere. The body started to resist while twisting, rising and tangling with the recovery bag and even Dave's own equipment. Down in the whole darkness, every movement became a struggle. Dave's hands were occupied while his breathing grew heavier. His light cord got tangled and the cave was closing in. Above, his support divers waited for his signal, but nothing came. The light that should have flickered, which was the sign that he was moving, never appeared. Only silence and stillness came for them. Minutes turned into hours.
I can't remember. Did they recover his body? And
Yeah.
Yeah, they recovered those bodies.
So yeah, so he was at the bottom, and I think one comment I wanted to add is that this is a massive disservice to what David Shaw did, because he actually recorded this whole thing.
Yep.
He could have been using David's video to show his actions.
Yep.
But what happened was he got entangled into the line,
Right.
and when they pulled the line, they pulled both bodies. So
That's right. Yeah.
fulfilling his promise to the family of bringing the body of their son back, but he died in the process of doing that. However, they did recover his body and Dion's body all at the same time.
And then
That's right.
the waiting turned into desperate hope. When divers finally returned days later to recover the equipment, they found not only Dion's body, but Dave
There you
Shaw's
go.
as well.
Yeah.
His final dive had become his last. In an effort to bring Dion home, Dave just got trapped in the hands of death.
He just said his final dive also became his last.
You know who said that.
Hey, just in case you thought his final dive wasn't his last, it was.
I don't think the next version of AI will make that mistake. It'll get better.
God.
It was a testimony that even the most experienced diver, even with the best preparation, can be undone by the mysterious depths of Bushman's Hole. Imagine the moment Dion's parents learned the truth. After 10 years, their son
Damn.
had finally been found, but so had the man who tried to bring him back. Instead of closure, they were handed a double tragedy where two men bound forever in the same grave. But what shocked the world was his final words to his teammates. It was not a cry nor a statement for the cameras. He understood the brutal mathematics of deep diving at nearly 900 feet,
Yeah.
where even the smallest mistake can mean death. Yet he accepted it and told them, "Let this be my grave."
Don't come and
Those
get me.
words were more than a statement.
Yeah.
They were an oath. If the cave claimed him, he would not fight the truth of it. He was willing to lie forever in the same place where Dion Dreyer had vanished 10 years earlier, and in that single statement, Shaw revealed the weight of his mission. It was a promise to a family who had already lost a son. And if it cost him his life, so be it. Dave Shaw's story is not just about death. He could have left Dion where he found him,
Yeah.
or he could have walked away with his records and his life. But he didn't. He chose to risk everything, not for glory, but for love, loyalty, and a promise made to grieving parents. His last dive reminds us of something beautiful. In the face of darkness, the greatest light we can carry is not pride, but compassion. Dave Shaw entered Bushman's Hole to bring one man home, but instead the cave kept them both. A diver swallowed by the earth, leaving behind not just silence, but sacrifice. Number 3, Jason Tuskis, Florida, USA, 1987. Have you ever wondered what it feels like to know you are lost forever? That is the tragic story of Jason Tuss, a boy who vanished into the darkness of Jenkins Creek, leaving behind a final message carved into metal. It
Metal?
was sharp enough to pierce through time itself. Jason was not some thrill-seeking daredevil. He was 17 years old, a high school senior with his whole life in front of him. He was an honor student, a wrestler, already working toward his associate's degree, and his dream was to become a lawyer by 23. A bright, ambitious, ordinary American teen who simply loved the idea of adventure. In February of 1987, he discovered scuba diving and suddenly fell in love with it. By summer, he had logged nearly 100 dives, and he was not done yet.
Wow.
Just curious, eager, and too young to imagine how unforgiving the underwater world could be. On July 21st, 1987, Jason and two of his friends, Vincent and Christopher, set out for a simple dive. The Gulf of Mexico trip they had planned had been cancelled by bad weather, so instead they chose the springs at Jenkins Creek, Florida. But Jenkins Creek was no ordinary swimming hole. Beneath its quiet surface was a network of flooded caves. It was of course beautiful to some,
Never been.
but too deadly to
I
others.
don't even know where it is.
The locals knew the system as dangerous, filled with twists, silt, and tight passages that could blind and trap even seasoned divers. But the boys didn't know that. They were not trained cave divers. They were just teenagers with tanks, flashlights, and a borrowed guideline, and were stepping into a world they were not ready for.
Oh,
At 10 a.m., Jason and Vincent went down, while Christopher stayed above to watch their bubbles. At first, the dive seemed too light and even thrilling. But caves are so tricky. The deeper they swam, the narrower the walls pressed in, and the darker the shadows grew. With every kick of their fins, the water was turning black around them. Within moments, their vision dropped to nothing, and their flashlights barely cut through the darkness, and just like that, the panic set in. Vincent managed to follow the line back toward the entrance, but in his terror, he made a fatal mistake. He pulled the line out as he swam and left Jason in darkness. It was the only chance of escape for Jason. Now he was all alone, blind, trapped in a maze of rock and water.
That's bad.
Vincent tried to go back for him, but fear won. The visibility was gone and he surfaced, shaken, and rushed for help. Rescue divers were called and Jason's parents were notified. His mother rushed to the springs, praying her son was alive but underground. Jason was already facing the darkest truth that he would not make it out.
You know, I think about the caves that we have dove the most. So think about like Ginny Springs and like, you know, those caves that we have done dozens of dives in, perhaps. And I think about if they drop me off at a random place, let's say the Bats. Well, maybe I can make it out from the Bats. I kind of know where that is. But they drop you off at one of those rooms at Ginny with no guideline, and they tell you go find the exit. Do you think you can find it?
Yeah, you're going to have the flow in your favor. So you know you're going to be in the general right direction because it's a spring, so you're going to feel yourself being pushed out. But there's some turns and jumps that you have to make. And if you miss those, I don't know where you go. And how you're going to know to go back to that spot because there's no guideline, you're saying. There's no line.
Yeah, like Doug posted.
No, if there was no line, I think it'd be bad.
Doug posted this dive that he did where they went to Sweet Surprise.
Yeah.
Sweet Surprise is this side passage with no flow, about 2,400 maybe feet from the entrance. So you're pretty far back out there. If they close your eyes and they drop you in Sweet Surprise with no guidelines to go anywhere,
I don't think so.
bro, that would be a bad day.
I don't think so. I don't think you get out.
Now, we've done that cave dozens of times. We are certified cave divers with a rebreather that goes for hours. Imagine a non-cave diver with a single tank on their back, not certified on a cave they've never been, and now no guideline.
Done.
It's over.
Done.
There's no chance. You got no chance.
Nope.
It's terrible.
Hours later, 2 expert divers entered Jenkins Creek to find him. They followed the maze until 57 feet deep. They found what no parent ever wants to hear about their child. Jason was sitting on the cave floor with his mask pulled down. His belt was still strapped on, and only one fin remained on his foot. His air tank laid a short distance away, still holding several minutes of life he chose not to use. Because Jason had already made his choice. With a steady hand, he had taken out his dive knife and pressed it into the tank.
What?
Scratching through the metal, he carved a message for his world. The words were not long, but they carried everything he wanted his family to know. They read, "I love you, Mom, Dad, and Christian." That was it. No panic, no complaint, just love. A final goodbye from a boy who realized his last breath would never reach the surface. It was his mother's birthday, and instead of cake and laughter, she received the most haunting message a parent could ever imagine from a son who had vanished beneath the earth.
Tough.
The family has kept both the tank and a piece of that birthday cake
sure.
frozen, preserved like Jason's words, his only legacy from the depths of Jenkins Creek. Jason's story is not just a tragedy of youth and inexperience, it is a reminder of how quickly the promise of life can be stolen away. But in that final moment, what remained was not fear, not ambition, not regret. It was love. His message in metal echoes louder than any scream. I love you, Mom, Dad, and Christian. In the end, these stories are not just about caves or diving or records. They are about what happens when curiosity collides with the silence of the earth. 3 divers and their final messages. 3 voices that reached beyond the water, beyond the darkness, to the people they loved most. Yes, the caves took their bodies, but their final words still echo. Not records, not achievements, not fear, but love. And that is what survives the darkness. So which incident gave you chills? Let me know in the comments.
Dude, that is...
Not too uplifting.
No. But,
well,
again, if we had to go back, let's just end the video with that. Because I feel like you had like a joke to write on your
No.
thing. But like
No,
let's
mine was
think
for real. Mine was real.
let's think for real. If you had to write a message to leave behind, like if I,
Mine's not a joke. Mine's real.
you know how in the military people write letters to their families, like when they're deploying or whatever, because they know that this is dangerous and I could die in action or I could die deployed, so I'm leaving a letter behind. We don't do that because to say that what we do is as risky as deploying to a war zone will be outrageously insane. It would be ridiculous.
It would.
So we don't write letters or like you're like no, like it's we're gonna be okay. We're gonna go on a trip. We're gonna go diving. We're gonna come back home. Like that's how I feel. So I think that your chance to write something would be in the moment. You are far in a cave. You got lost. Like you're about to die. You pull out your wet notes. You don't have to carve it into the tank or whatever. What do you write down? Like, do you write like something long? Like I'm gonna take 30 minutes writing this, or will you keep it simple?
I think mine's simple and beautiful.
Don't say L because I'm gonna lose
It's
it.
not.
The dog's not gonna read the.
It's
stupid.
not L.
Okay.
Mine really wasn't to L.
Okay, all right. Because I feel like
Mine's beautiful.
if anyone would write something to their dog, that would be you.
I would miss her, but mine's beautiful.
Oh,
Really,
boy.
it's beautiful. Mine would simply say, "Thanks a lot, Gus."
Wow.
And think about how the beauty of that. It depends how you interpret that. You see what I mean? How it has double meaning. Try to focus. Try to listen. Try to be open-minded. All the memories. Thanks a lot, Gus. We shared so much together. You probably thought I meant, thanks a lot, Gus. You killed me.
Wow.
And I know you. I see how it has a double meaning. It depends how you
No,
say.
everybody
You
knows
know how
what you mean.
sometimes when
There's
you're
no double
cranky and you
meaning,
have the
yeah.
attitude,
no.
thanks a lot, Gus.
That's
Or thanks a lot, Gus. Like we shared a
for
lot.
the memories.
See the double memory? See the double meaning?
Nobody believes
See how
that.
beautiful mine is?
No one believes that. No one.
It's really mine's actually thoughtful.
I-
And thought provoking.
I honestly I don't know what I would write. I feel like a part of me
Who knows? That's the real answer.
a part of me would just keep it like very factual. Like here's the password to like my email address, so you can respond to emails from our customers. Like honestly, like this is what I would be thinking. Like for my wife, I would be like, here's my
It's touching
password,
for her.
here's my what I know. But I mean after writing something touching, I would be like, here's the bank account information. Like I don't know what I would write, but I would be like, I want to take care of my family, so I would write this
Okay.
down. You know what I'm saying? But who knows what I would write? What I do know is that I want to see what people would write on their note, and I hope they keep it serious.
Maybe an apology, like I'm sorry. Just write something like
You were right. I died cave diving. So many times you said that could potentially happen. You know what? You were right. I don't know. Honestly,
it's hard to know. I mean, you could sit here and contemplate, but
I feel like if I really thought that something like that was going to happen, then I would write a letter like they do in the military, or I would film a video. I would film a video to my kids and my family and whatever and tell them, what happened. To be fair, I think where my mind goes when I think of that is, don't be sad for me. I died doing what I love. Like, honestly, that's how I feel. And yeah, of course, drowning is horrible and all of that. But there's people that go through, like, horrific battles with health and sickness for decades before they die. They, like, suffer for many years. If I drown, I'll be dead in 5 minutes. And I drowned cave diving, doing something I love. So I would encourage people, like, don't be sad for me. Learn from what happened to me so this doesn't happen to anyone else. And that's it. Like,
yeah. What
keep it
shows
simple.
that I just value our relationship more. Because thanks a lot, Gus. Bye, everybody.